with them and having played with them many times. So I know it's to a certain extent what I expect to see. There's the Anivia, there's the Reeves being taken away.
Every
not
time.
Too surprised there.
Every time. You are seriously memeing if you do not ban Anivia from Reeves. I'm sorry, but it's just how it could be.
That's just what you do. When you see a one-trick pony or a two-trick pony or a three-trick pony, you get rid of some of them. So you know what? You don't get it. You're not going to get to play against it. Nidalee is an interesting ban. It's an interesting ban, and it's interesting because of how non-meta that champion currently is. It's not someone you see at all. I cannot remember the last time I've seen a Nidalee. Though, if there's a one-trick pony, perhaps you don't want to deal with that kitty cat.
I mean, the jungler for the side of SPKE Embers has it in the name. It's almost a requirement to ban it away. You just want to be on the safe side, make sure that you don't, again, give those free champions to the enemy team if they are one-tricking. We've talked about how if you hate a champion, put it in your name because it'll be forever banned against you. Boosting for Nidskin, gonna have that Nidalee banned away against him. I'm sure they're a very good Nidalee player as well. Another jungle/mid laner, Talia, with the high roam capability, being banned away by Why Are You Running? Kind of flexing between the mid and jungle, but again, also a champion you very rarely see. So it may be one of those kind of unique picks from SPKE Embers that Why Are You Running say they're just not interested in dealing with. And then the trolliest champion of them all besides Trundle, Zoe, taken away. Again, making that mid lane, setting up Lord Reeves to be a potential carry for this team. We haven't yet talked about, though, the fact that Justify, this AD carry, is absolutely insane with multiple champions, with the Lucian, with the Sivir. This guy is so clean and so good. He's going to be playing Kai'Sa this game, but it's up against that Morgana that Thresh was actually, taken into. That is so interesting. It's very rare that you see a Thresh be purposefully chosen into an enemy team Morgana.
Yeah, it's not terrible. In the black, obviously the black shield makes it so that you don't get the staggering effect from the death sentence, but you can still travel to said champion, so you're still able to set up a lot of plays. It's kind of like when Braum gets taken into Morgana. The difference with Braum is your Winter Spot actually can break the shield. The Sivir does get locked into pay with the Morgana, so they're running the double spell shield. Is pretty safe bot lane into the Thresh Kai'Sa. Rek'Sai being picked up by Mike Oxmall Bros, one of the champions he definitely does pretty well on. Someone who can be pretty aggressive. The way Rek'Sai is currently built is very aggressive, very duelist-esque. So pretty excited to see him in that role into a Sejuani. I'm expecting to see tons of brawls happening, hopefully even some counter jungling going on. As the Echo gets taken away, a lot of, you've already talked about it pretty heavily, but a lot of mid lane focus this game. Last game we saw top lane. This game we see mid lane with 5 out of the 7 bans being put towards the mid lane. Only the Caitlyn and Nidalee arguably being taken away from the mid lane.
Oh, come on, Caitlyn mid. That was so meta about 7 years ago. Zillion taken away as well. One of those potential supports, but considering that the Thresh was already picked up by Why Are You Running, it's a mid laner. There's the Lysandra as well. I'm still waiting on one particular champion. I want to see what this next ban by SPKE Embers is before talking about it, because if it doesn't get banned right now, the likelihood that Lord Reeves is going to play it is very, very high. We'll see what they decide to actually take away, as we are going to be looking towards that, as you said, super safe bottom lane for SPKE Embers, the Sivir and Morgana. It has saved teams many times before.
The wrong V champion.
The wrong V champion. Talk about it. That Veigar.
We know it's coming in. We know. What else does Reeves even play?
Honestly, I'm shocked they didn't ban the Veigar, because if you check his at least stream stats, if you've watched him at all on the stream, he literally plays 2 champions, Anivia and Veigar. Those are the 2, and there it is.
There it is. Wait, he actually locked it in.
Yeah, I mean, why would you not? Why would you not? Keep in mind, look at the team comp so far. Their
you were serious?
is actually huge. Not only between the Rek'Sai with the Unburrow, the Thresh with the hooks, but you have the Thresh box paired with the Veigar box as well. The one thing they are missing is either a super heavy frontline, something like a Scion that just doesn't care about the enemy team, a potential split pusher, though their members are a little bit squishy to run a true 1-4 composition, or a absolutely massive damage dealer, something that, well, I guess Lux did recently get nerfed, but something that can add to the Kai'Sa and Veigar damage. But I think so far their composition as kind of a death ball of CC chains and damage is looking pretty good. especially when you consider the execution factor between the WAYR ultimate and the Kai'Sa's Acathian Rain. They could, just the two of them, almost one-shot any member of SPK Embers besides potentially the Aatrox or Galio that just got locked in.
Yeah, really, Bruiser, I mean, they have the Galio with the Sejuani pairing. That all being said, I actually was expecting the Victor to be locked in, not the Veigar. I thought we were trolling and saying Veigar, but actually referring to the Victor. As the Ornn gets locked in, 4th Green Flamer, so we are going to be seeing the Ornn into the Aatrox, which is pretty interesting. It can go either way. Ornn can actually still win that matchup because of how much damage he does early on. In the mid lane, I'm not sure if it's Morgana mid or Galio mid. I'm expecting it to be the Morgana, but Galio. I said Morgana. It looks like we are going to see the Galio mid with the Morgana support. So, I mean, that works out really well for Veigar. I don't know why you would take Galio into Veigar, because you are basically allowing him to free stack. You normally take someone pretty aggressive into Veigar, like a Katarina, someone who with the split stun doesn't actually impact. So really a really safe call coming in, especially if his roster consists of champions like Echo, Lissandra, Talia, these bursty-esque sort of champions. Galio is a pretty surprising alternative for me. If we're talking about win conditions over drafts, though, I mean, you have the Sivir composition for the blue team, and you've got a Kai'Sa composition for the red team. It's just basically two 80 carry focused teams. You got the Galio, Sejuani for the blue team. Got the Ornn, the Thresh for red team. Veigar does throw a little bit of a wrench in things because he can also be a pretty disgusting late game carry as time goes on. Same with Aatrox for the blue team here, where obviously we've seen him play tons in pro play. Even after nerfs, he still played very heavily. Sejuani, I love Sejuani jungle. I think Sejuani is super strong right now. For me, this is a really bit of a toss-up game. I think both compositions are pretty similar. The only difference is for blue team, we have Aatrox in the top lane, for instance, we have Veigar in the mid lane. Only differences, but I actually would give the benefit to why are you running here. The reason I say that is because of ease of execution. I always say that one of the biggest factors in compositions is not only, first of all, how good is the composition, but how easily can you execute off of it. If you are entirely reliant around a Sleepy Trouble Bubble or an Ashel, it's tough to execute off of that, because if you miss, you have to wait. Whereas when you have things like Ornn on your team or Veigar on your team, which are really easy to land abilities, you have that ease of execution, it makes it way easier to execute off of that and to be able to snowball that forward.
Now, the one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about with Why Are You Running and their ability to kind of collapse, and as you said, that ease of execution when it comes to those skirmishes or potential team fights, is those collapsing from either Veigar making a roam out of mid lane or Rek'Sai trying to get an early invade into a particular lane, trying to use that unburrow early game to start something off. You will have that Galio ultimate from the mid lane. That's the key there, is the positioning out of Galio in laning is very nice to be able to hit those side lanes if necessary, and that can really turn around some of those fights. I'd like to see SPK Embers actually fight in the jungle more often than the lanes themselves, simply because of their ability to use those very narrow choke points for the Morgana Dark Binding, or the Sejuani Flail, or the Aatrox Darkened Blades. There's a lot of opportunities for them to kind of narrow passageway, force people to be hit by those CCs. Whereas for Why Are You Running, you really want to be looking for those fights more towards that open area of the river, where you've got the engage opportunity from the Ornn, the Rek'Sai, to set up for the Thresh and Veigar to follow up as well. Late game scaling, you said, Why Are You Running? They've got the Veigar and the Kai'Sa, plus those Ornn items late game will just continue to build more and more damage on them. But that said, SPK Embers is still a snowballing team. The Sejuani and Aatrox pairing can be ridiculously powerful because Aatrox is considered a melee champion despite his ridiculous range between the Infernal Chains or those Darkened Blades for those engages, as well as that bottom lane of the Morgana and Sivir. We've seen it time and time again it is excelled just because of how safe and how fast that Sivir can pick up items because of her wave clear.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and that's what I was mentioning earlier. It's a real toss up for me. The only reason I was giving it to WAYR running was for that ease of execution. But you're absolutely right. The one advantage that SPK especially has is their front line is a little bit beefier as well, because you have Sejuani, Galio. You also have Morgana who's going to be running in, as well as the Aatrox who's going to be running in as well, trying to get the AoE damage off as we load onto the Rift.
There we go. Game number 2, round 2 in the Scrim Gym Week 7. SPK Embers are, in theory, the favorites coming into the game, considering they were the heavyweight champions last week, and it's only been 7 days since they were crowned, or belted, if you will, the heavyweight champions. And now, why are you running? Showing up, and we'll see what they can do as the game gets started. It's looking like an invade, as you were hoping for.
Invade.
Oh, it's a double invade. Ah, tragic. Why do they do that? Come on, both teams have to 5-man invade the same side and then blind run into the same bush. Those are the best starts to the game. Level 1, 5v5. Oh, it's not going to happen this game.
No, they're going to miss each other here. I'm not terribly surprised. It's sort of a 50-50, which direction you're going to take. Do you take top or do you take bot? Both teams do it. And it's a 50, not really. We'll say 50-50.
We'll say 50-50, but it really is, if you consider it a safer for both teams to take these routes. The main reason why is that if you're on the blue side, SPK Embers, generally speaking, their route takes them through that tri-bush on the top side. That's the favored spot for a top laner to just sit and kind of get vision. And if maybe they aren't paying attention to that vision and where things are at, they could be caught out. And then on the bottom side, if you do this deeper invade where you walk all the way around where the Krug's pit is, you can potentially come from behind members of SPK Embers that are kind of sitting around this jungle. They're going to catch sight of Morgana, but she's hopping her way towards that bottom side of the map, so it might actually be a red buff start for this Rek'Sai. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and start it up for Mycox.
Yeah, I don't really understand why SPK played this way. They didn't ward Rek'Sai's red. They didn't verify their own red buff, and now, unless they're aware of the vertical jungling happening, oh, the level 1 gank! With an early death sentence to miss. Yeah. For shame, Monaco.
You're ahead of me again.
Am I?
Yeah, let's go ahead and try to set that up real quick. It's I'm at the 2-minute mark, 2-minute 1, 2-minute 2, 2-minute 3, counting stream, 2-minute 4, 2-minute 5, 2-minute 6. I think I was only like a second or two ahead of you. So
yeah, 2-minute 8, 2-minute 9, 2-minute 10.
Yeah, we're good enough.
Good enough.
Close enough. All right, so the invade of the bottom side didn't work out. Dr. Monaco a little bit slow to land that death sentence. If it had landed, catching Morgana before she gets her black shield is super, super nice. Not going to happen this game, as Sejuani is going to try to get that vertical jungling started. Looks like both junglers are going to be enjoying each other's farm.
Yeah, I didn't actually like the play. It was super risky. The reason I didn't like the play from Monaco going for the death sense to the level 1 gank down there is because you let SPK know that you took their red and it's a vertical jungle game. Before that, it was very possible, as a skirmish top lane, very possible that Sejuani would have just simply been 3-buffed. So I think if they had left that information alone and Rex had gone back into the jungle, it may have been to the benefit of why are you running.
All right, so 4.5 to 4.5 gold. Oh, look at that. It's an even game with no kills and no deaths and fairly even farm as both junglers were stealing each other's jungle. Rek'Sai going to pop up over the wall to find out the Rages have been stolen. Oh, no. Tragedy strikes. Sejuani taking away that top Scuttle Crab. There is that bottom Scuttle Crab available for Rek'Sai if she wants to go ahead and head there. A little bit of skirmish to the top side of the map. So Razel getting those Infernal Chains to drag Korean Flamer right back in. Took a couple more Dark and Blade strikes. Sejuani around the corner though, boosting for Nidskid, could hop over the wall. This Ornn is actually in huge danger. There's a flash engage. Oh, Ornn caught out, tried to flash and turn it around, but Sejuani level 3. Great dive.
Yeah, actually, because Ornn stayed turned to use his Fellow Breath, it actually ended up dying to the auto. If he kept walking away, he might have been able to kite that out.
No, I've got the webcam fixed. I apologize for that. That's on my side. I hadn't turned it on since the last production. Sleepily gonna get a little bit of a taunt onto the Viger. Not gonna do all that much. Mycox getting a bit of knock up there. That Sleepily may be even flashing, as we do have Dr. Monaco roaming towards that mid lane. Sejuani should be able to see him just a moment. Death Sentence not gonna land over the wall, and the Galio is gonna be sticking around for a moment. But that means YAR can set up super aggressively on the bottom side. Lands that Dark Fighting, just getting a little bit of poke onto that Kai'Sa. Tormented Soil to boot it as well.
Yeah, and this is one of the sort of like the most negative point of ganking for Veigar early is he doesn't really have much damage yet, so it's really hard to actually execute a kill on someone who has all their health. You really have to wait for Veigar to to whittle them down a little bit. That fight top lane was super anticlimactic. They both kind of just stood there for 2 seconds after the interruption happened. Oh, Morgana trying to prevent some counter jungling here, though.
Yeah, I like Mycox's aggression, though, staying front and center in the enemy team's jungle and getting a lot of vision down with those wards. You can see sitting in that pixel brush towards that mid lane, taking those tunnels out as well. Keeps Rek'Sai very safe. Another Infernal Drake to start the game off, so things will get a little bit more spicy with that damage. But Sejuani is also taking away the enemy team Krug, so it's looking like these junglers have swapped teams. Apparently, Rek'Sai is now jungling for SPK Embers, as Boosting Preditsky will be the jungler for Why Are You Running?
Yeah, absolutely. Sejuani once again with a return gank.
The top side, Korean Flamer, CC chain, CC chain, CC chain, Infernal chain to top it all off. Korean Flamer, no flash either. Goes down. Great abuse of the fact that that Ornn flash was down earlier. However, that actually Hook's going to land, try to drag Yarg. She's going to just Black Shield walk through the walls of Veigar, but still an Infernal Drake for Why Are You Running?
Kind of surprised Monaco chose to not take that hook over the wall. Following up on the Morgana might have been another kill for him, but and overall we're seeing a lot of pressure being put on Korean Flamer in the top lane. Even then, the CS difference not being too terrible. We've seen Sejuani up there twice now, getting both of the kills as well. Unfortunately, Aatrox not getting too much of the love there. What's interesting is he's actually purchased a Cull. That is an item I would never have expected an Aatrox to pick up early on. But opting for the economy route, saying, you know what, I'm not getting the shop items, I'm not getting the champ rerolls I need, may as well go for the economy route.
Yeah, and it's one of the things is you're more team fight oriented, right? You're saying, you know what, early game, even if you got a nice flash burn by Sleepily, it's just that engage, and Sleepily didn't even have to burn their own flash, so re-gank potential there in that mid lane. But as I was saying, team fight oriented for both teams, so Aatrox says, you know what, we're going to go ahead and start off knowing that eventually Ornn's items are going to come online. Let's try to go ahead and get a little bit of a boost there by grabbing that call. We'll see how fast he actually clears it up, though, because he is ahead of Ornn in CS by just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at items here real quick. We're seeing the BF sword match in the bot lane. What's interesting is Reeves backed before he had enough gold for a lost chapter. So on his TP back in the lane, he only had the amplifying tome. Typically, usually you see either a Dark Seal being picked up or you see a second Doran's ring being picked up, as it's pretty brutal. Freeze starting to get set up here in the bottom lane. I would really like to see Monaco look for some maybe more roams. You saw some evidence of it earlier towards the mid lane, get some more pressure down onto this Galio. You know, scaling wise, again, we have to say that Why Are You Running looks pretty scary with the Veigar Kai'Sa combination. At this point, if both teams just sort of play it out, I think that's actually to the benefit of Why Are You Running, because you have those hard scaling champions.
I would agree. However, those first items or even second tier items can still come in big. But as you said, for SPK Embers, they are on a little bit of a clock. And so they need to keep the Sejuani moving forward aggressively, trying to find these ultimates. And now that that ultimate is available, it's a very simple way to engage. Mycox hanging around this bottom side. There is a control ward in the second brush, but they haven't actually been able to get him in there yet as the wave kind of crashed a little bit early. So they're once again trying to set up these frees. But there's a lot of time invested by this Rek'Sai.
Yeah, really playing an odd one here right now. Sometimes if they can find this play, then it's great. But what's negative about this is there's no dragon currently up. So even if he finds his play, you have Sejuani stealing away the red buff. You're getting nothing out of this. At best, you get a kill, but you have no macro objective to follow up on after.
He's going to be canceling that recall yet again, but look at the freeze by SPK Embers. They're not pushing forward aggressively. They're just going to try to force something to happen. The spell shield's coming huge, and they actually are going to turn around a little bit of damage. Drop Justified down to about half health. Beautiful play. It almost feels like they had a ward in that second brush and kind of knew that Rek'Sai was around the corner. I'd be curious to kind of back things up and see if, as Mycox headed into that first brush, if they didn't catch sight of him as their ward died. Now Korean Flamer, gonna burn that ultimate. World Ender comes out from Cerezel. Not too much effect on that top side.
Yeah, actually, Ornn could have looked for the turnaround play there if he'd chosen to utilize the ultimate.
They're going to try going in again. You're going to flash and still get knocked up as the Black Shield was used onto the Sivir. They found the CC chain. The hook is going to land, but they're underneath the turret. Galio ultimate comes in as well. Ibaraki doesn't care. Wants to maybe take that Black Shield to get a little bit closer to the Sivir and, to the Kaisa, as well as that Thresh. He's going to land another death sentence onto the Morgana. Whoa, the damage out of Void Seeker is pretty good from Justify, but not enough to take the Morgana down.
Yeah, and really, I mean, that was just so unfortunate for why are you running. Not only did they commit so much that play.
Oh, they're still coming to the bottom side. The Justify jumping forward with the flash. The Captian ran as well, but they can't catch Ibaraki inside that ultimate. There's the Killer Instinct, though, by Justify. Going to take several turret shots. Dr. Marco wants the last arrow, and he will get it. No, it was the boomerang from Justify? Or the Void Seeker?
No, the
Void Seeker. Oh my word. I don't even know in the end. I think it was a 3-for-2, which I would not say is worth it for why are you running, but they got the kills, and that's what matters. 2-for-2.
2-for-2, actually. Yeah. The men are making it not too bad at the end. Sejuani not being the bottom side of the map. Now, to your point earlier of like, you know, why the bottom is playing so cautiously. One thing to note is that Sejuani was up at the top side of the map, and Rek'Sai wasn't, right? So when Sejuani stole the red buff, they knew Rek'Sai wasn't up there, and that does give information saying Rek'Sai must be on the bottom half of the map, so be careful bot lane.
Good communication there from SPK Embers, but then they get a little bit greedy after winning initially in that fight, stepping forward a bit aggressively, trying to bait that Thresh forward. And really, the cue to go all in from Why Are You Running was when that Galio backed, making it once again a 2v2. And I gotta say, Ibaraki's spell shields have been fantastic, but in the end, that collapse by Justify using the Killer Instinct was really, really good. And Thresh tanking that turret to make sure she was able to get the kill. Now Dr. Monaco might be in a little bit of trouble. Mycox goes over the wall. He needs to find someone to knock up, but he's got the Morgana. You're gonna fall again. Those walls setting up her to fall as that Thresh ultimate was used there. The TP coming in from Ornn, so it's 5 members of Why Are You Running collapsing here for the Ocean Drake.
Yeah, really good play out of Why Are You Running there. I like the setup they sort of pulled off there. They didn't even utilize anything like Call the Forge God or anything like that. They're going up an Ocean Drake, which is, I think, really important for them when you have laners who are late game scaling. And you have Ornn up the top lane eating a lot of damage from Aatrox. Ocean is huge for you. That's one of the best dragons, like arguably the best Drake for you. So you're able to sustain yourself in lane. Veigar's able to stack up more. Ornn has just general more survivability.
And especially Veigar with that mana regen towards the late game is going to be absolutely beautiful for him. Just so many more spells being able to be cast because of that. A little bit of play here in that mid lane. Thresh going to get a nice little bit of play backwards over Sleepily finds the taunt in return. The play is going to be fairly canceled as Lord Reeds wasn't quite able to find the event horizon. Rift Hair going to be the target for SPK Embers as their bottom lane's pushed up pretty heavily. And Rek'Sai not going to be able to see this one, so SPK Embers may be able to grab Rift for free.
Though Ornn is moving over, does see them on the Rift, so they know now.
Oh, they're actually going to call off of it. Call the Forge God going to be grabbed by Ornn. He actually gets the knockback as well as Galio ultimate coming in. He's stopped from charging away. The Aatrox going to use the World Ender going and looking for Mike Ox. Will the Rek'Sai be able to get out? Throws that ultimate and drops. So World Ender, again, keep in mind, doesn't have that revive, but may not need it. He's got that speed boost. Korean Flame are going to be dropped for a double kill. Lord Reeves throws out the ultimate and boosting for Ninskin. Thresh going over the wall. What is he doing? The throw from Lord Reeves. Not going to be able to get. Thresh actually finishes off the Sejuani, but Dr. Monaco will pay his life for it. In the end, a 3-4-1. They take down the enemy team jungler, but lost way too much in the process.
And that's what we're talking about earlier, is that the one damage source that SPK has on their side is Aatrox. And we just saw how disgusting that damage was. Each Q was practically a quarter of the health onto both Monocle and Reeves in that fight. You know, Mike Ox will try to come in and be like, whoa, 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 you can't just bully my top laner like that. And Aatrox just hits him 3 times and he's down. Like it was a three-hit knockout. So, I mean, like, yeah, Aatrox comes online way earlier than Veigar does. You need like 35 minutes for Veigar to turn into 1v9 mode. Aatrox hits 1v9 mode at like 10 minutes in. Once he's level 7-ish, he's already super strong.
Well, he's currently level 11, the highest level in the game, the highest CS in the game. He is currently a monster for the side of SPK Embers, building up towards a second item and still has that call available to sell as well. So very, very happy with his current position in the game, but now needs to actually use that power to continue to snowball the side for SPK Embers. They're about 3,000 gold in the lead, which is a good position to be sitting at as we were kind of scaling in towards some of those skirmishes. Dr. Monaco might be caught out. That's a Swanee ultimate, only going to find a little bit of a slow. Great flash there from Dr. Monaco.
Yeah, and again, we are seeing a little bit of a lackluster performance from Mike Oxmal in this game. He does have this aggressive bruiser, but he hasn't really been able to find too many opportunities to do anything. The one time he tried recently, he just got bopped by Sir Rizel. And now we're going to see Aatrox sort of taking over this top lane more than he already was. Now Oran's going to struggle to farm at all. Before he was keeping up and farming fairly well. It wasn't the worst deficit of farm. Now it's going to be a rough lane for him now.
Well, it feels like Why Are You Running is kind of starting to make some of those desperation plays, and that's when you start to make mistakes, right? They're feeling a little bit of pressure. They know the kill lead is in Ember's favor. They know that they have kind of a easier, faster collapse with this Galio, as well as the harder to kill team with those spell shields in the bottom lane. So they're trying to just see where they can actually find some solid footing to start to kind of take back over this game. But it's going to be a little bit, and I think that they really need to make sure that this bottom lane Kai'Sa is just able to get as big as possible. Make those plays on the bottom side, get this Kai'Sa ahead, because you cannot have Kai'Sa being even with Sivir towards that later stages of the game, especially if the rest of the team is just not there as well.
No, absolutely. We're going to force the bottom side of the... No, they aren't even able to force this. This is what's tragic, because again, now Sejuani once again taking complete control of the top side of the map without being able to answer any way. And one thing we've sort of left out is how impactful Sleeply has been. He's been able to use the hero's entrance in every single fight, forcing some space in between Why Are You Running and whatever target they've been sitting on top of. So, sort of an unsung hero so far as well. Putting tons of, like we said, just creating that space, allowing SPK to play the way they want to play these fights. And now, I just don't know how Why Are You Running going to respond to this Aatrox right now.
I gotta give credit to SPK Embers. They did a beautiful thing in the bottom side just then, and that was that without any vision in the river whatsoever, no wards, no nothing, simply analyzed the map and said, who do we see around the corner, and backed away from the bottom side when 3 members of Why Are You Running were collapsing. And that is just some really good game sense to be able to say, you know what, it's not who we see, it's who we don't see that's going to determine our positioning. And with that, the double spell shield is back away. Now the Ocean Bay can be started up by Why Are You Running with that pressure. Sejuani goes over the wall and she smites it away, stealing the Ocean. Arctic Assault right back over. Now they have to save the Aatrox. He's going to start that World Ender. Who needs to save him when he's just going to pick up an easy kill with the Darkened Blade on the Rex side?
Yeah, and I didn't mention, we didn't talk about this too much, but it was pretty interesting to pick up Ornn into the Aatrox because it is already a losing lane. They had the counter pick available and chose not to pick up someone more aggressive who can play into him like an Aurelia or Fiora, and opted for the super safe route as well. So that's nothing to note.
Shelly gonna get a charge onto the turret, however, will be dropped before the turret goes down. Ooh, it's actually about the same time as the Galio ultimate goes in. Korean Flame, we're gonna get 2-man knockout, but it's left alone. It's not gonna be falling, so they're gonna take out members. Dr. Monocle is so low. One boomerang from Sivir will finish him off. However, Dr. Monocle is able to just sneak around the side of that turret to get out. Lord Reeves and Justify half health each, trying to hold on to this mid lane turret without a wave. SPK Embers are backing away for the moment. The flash from Mycog, so he wants to re-engage this, but again, he's walking into an Aatrox that doesn't care. Sir Rizel's now 4-0-4. He's gonna return, flashing and looking for Justify. However, the flash from the Kai'Sa to get to the Dark Passage by Thresh to get out, and leaves Viagar Lord Reeves alone to fall. And now that should be the second turret for SPK Embers as they've turned this game completely around. What was originally kind of looking for Why Are You Running, well, that really turned it around, excelled it by a massive amount.
Yeah, and this is sort of like, I would say, a fault of Why Are You Running in this game is that they had the late game scaling composition. They had a way better late game team fight. It's just like a, hey, ticking time bomb, as you mentioned before. But instead, they started looking for tons of skirmishes and fighting opportunities. We've seen Mike Oxmal look for so many fights that there was just no way they were going to win. right? Aatrox, Sejuani versus Rek'Sai Ornn. You're going to get totally outdamaged. As now it have WAYR running, trying to reset, trying to figure out where they can put some pressure on the map, figure out what they need to do. And at this point, the answer is the usual generic answer of just turtle. Wait till you're strong. Play around your composition, which is quite literally Baby Gate and Call of the Forge God. Those are the two abilities you play around. You can also look for the death sentences, but they're less reliable. If you find it, awesome. But you play around Call of the Forge God and the Baby Rage Cage.
Yeah, and they're just not playing around those CC chains, and as you said, they're getting way too aggressive, right? It's when you get caught up in the moment and you're just like, let's go, let's go, let's go, we want to fight, we want to fight, we want to fight, but they can't. They cannot deal with this Aatrox at the moment. Ooh, nice burst. Can't finish off Morgana. That should be an easy one-shot by Lord Reyes. I'm actually a little bit disappointed he didn't flash the wall to ult Morgana just to really take down one member of the enemy team, but plays it super, super safe, doesn't find the kill. Morgana just walks away from that.
Yeah, well, if he really wanted to, he could have taken the plant over, and then if there was threat, he could have flashed back over the wall, but... Oh, this Aatrox damage is going to be disgusting now. Now he has Death's Dance, so he's free to play a little bit more dangerously around towers as well, as he can regenerate a lot of the health off of the minions. And now, similar to the game like last game, we're going to have this tango starting up around Baron. The one difference, though, is that WAYR running does have a fairly good collapse composition. You know, again, with Veigar especially, they can look to punish an overzealous Baron play. But for now, I mean, they really need to be very careful of SPK, because SPK...
Oh, they caught out Morgana! There's the ultimate! No chance to spell shield. Now, that's a huge ultimate for 150 health Morgana, but you know what? You take down one of those spell shields, maybe you can find a little bit something else. And with that, many members of SPK Embers backing away from the Baron. However, that Thresh might be getting a little bit aggressive as Dr. Monocle is trying to clear out Vision. Might be caught out on the hunt call from the Sivir. They're looking for Dr. Monocle. He does have Flash available. Doesn't go for the back of the Baron pit to try to flash over. Is able to flash for the moment now, but it's still going to be falling down as Sejuani will flash in. In the meantime, Aatrox takes that first tier turret on the bottom side. So it's still advantages to SPK Embers. And Ornn, what are you doing? Korean Flamer gonna get flamed by his Korean friends because that was just a disrespectful move. I'm not even sure what type of fight he was trying to find.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there. Tried to TP back in for a collapse, help out Dr. Monocle, who died too quickly, and Reeves not having cooldowns, not sure what he should be doing. We just saw sort of a very scattered lack of communication play from WAYR running there. It's actually the aggroed Baron not even hitting Morgana there.
It's a real, true, beautiful, and amazing buffet line from the side of Why Are You Running, right? Why are you running directly into the awaiting arms of SPK Embers, one member at a time? Their power is in their grouping. Their power is in playing as a 5-man death ball composition, right? You're looking for AoEs. You're looking for everyone targeting on the same champion. Not the other way around, not going in one at a time. Even Dr. Monocle getting vision of the bottom lane, Mountain Drake being picked up by SPK Embers. Fortunately decides not to try to go in and steal. I was almost expecting that out of this team at the moment. But still caught vision of that happening. 2 dragons each. Now they might actually be able to collapse and blind. Yarg, the Black Shield's gonna starve. Oh, that's the ultimate out. They're gonna be able to knock off the Sejuani. They found the pick on the Morgana. Killer Instinct from Kaisa will get a double kill to justify. They finally find themselves a fight. They're looking for the mid lane. First tier turret. No, they're gonna run straight towards the Baron because they've taken down the Sejuani. It might be a 5 versus 3 fight at the Baron.
What have I been saying this whole game? Play around those abilities. What did they do? They played around Call of the Forge God. And what happened? They got some picks.
Well, they were looking for one, and they got a second one. Buy one, get one free. The Aatrox, though, going to be starting up a fight. The Baron is going to be called off. Korean Flamer trying to chase it in. Galio ultimate's going to be called in as well. Everyone's sidestepping it for the moment. No one going to continue chasing. Justify on the front line. Dangerous for the Kaisa.
Galio out of position.
We'll see if Sleepily can escape this. He's still full health, though, able to walk around and has the Proto Belt to back away as well. The flash forward from Rek'Sai. He's looking to root someone up. They might have caught the Aatrox out. He flashes, but there's a threat to the backside. He plays right back into the fight. Dr. Monocle will give his life, and Sleepily, being the tank, was able to make sure that 3 members of Why Are You Running fell as they just bite off way more they can chew in a 5v3 fight.
Yeah, and it's crazy how much Sleeply was able to tank there, despite having basically a full AP build. Only with the Merc Treads, it was Jay Justified took forever to melt their Galio there, and now they're going to be able to start up, maybe even look for Sejuani might just might steal this away, going right onto the Kaisa.
Yeah, boosting doesn't care. Looking for Justify. Can't actually find the lockdown just yet, and does take away that red buff. Even the Void Seeker not going to get there in time. Oh wait, Sivir was able to spike.
Yeah, use the boomerang, picked it up before Jay Justify's Void Seeker could even connect. So even more beneficial for SPK there.
Nice supercharge from Justify, but you can see just how much damage this team continues to put out. At the moment, SPK Ember's in really good position. There's still a good 8,000 gold in the lead. I feel like they're playing a little bit more defensive and reserved than they really need to, especially when their Aatrox is so huge, their Galio is huge, their Sivir is 4, 1, and 6. Finish off that Infinity Edge. They should have the power to either just straight up murder the Baron with that Mountain Drake, or go in for a big fight around that middle inhibitor turret. See what they actually decide to do, though.
Yeah, and just checking in real quick, it looks like Lord Reeves is at a 150 stacks of his passive, so he is at a 387 AP at the moment. Opted for the poor man's AP build of the Void Staff, as it's referred to as the poor man's build. If you're ahead, you go for Rabadons. If you're behind, you go for Void Staff. It's been the mid lane rule as long as League of Legends has been a thing. And now we have both teams repositioning here. The one thing to keep in mind is that Veigar has started to come online a little bit. The other thing to keep in mind is no one can stop this Aatrox. So I don't know how WAYR are going to respond to this. They are opting for the
They're opting for the fight. Ignore the bottom side. Call the Forge God going to be used, but nobody's really in position to start this one off. So Sejuani going to tank it up for a moment, then re-engage, knowing that big ultimate is down. Vigor's around the side. However, he's going to be rooted up by the Morgana. He's going to go golden for, but no, Morgana goes golden to survives. Mycox Bro still should be able to find the execute. The Dark Shield not going to be enough to save the Morgana. It's a 1-for-1 jungler for support, and now Aatrox has walked his way here into the mid lane, looking for Justify. The flash from Korean Flamer to get out of the fight, but it is a 3 versus 4 as Cerezal continuing to force flashes, making Why Are You Running run right back to their own fountain as a pause comes through, and everyone rages because we got some pauses in the game that was just getting super hype.
Oh, well, that was we're already resuming, so the pause was
just enough for the casters to catch their breath.
Yeah, just enough for the for the Jake to catch his breath. You're right. Man, what a scattered fight that was. A couple of things to note. From Why Are You Running? Reeves positioning totally away from the team. Getting caught by Morgana on the side was a huge problem in that fight. Basically losing most of their damage, their burst damage source there. Even though we mentioned he does have the Void Staff now, he is fairly strong. Though he's not going to be one-shotting an Aatrox just yet. We have Galio just zoning 3 people on his own right now.
Finding a single taunt on the Ornn. However, Thresh gonna land a hook and to go on into Cerezal, but Sejuani still secures the bear for the side of the SPK Embers, and Dr. Monica will be the target. Will fall first to Baraki, going unstoppable as they will be taking the Rek'Sai down as well. Sejuani ultimate just find a little bit of slow on to Justify, hops over the wall, a nice 3-member knockup by the Ornn, but it's not gonna mean a darn thing as Why Are You Running once again lose out the fight completely, and it's just one of those moments where you say you're down 8,000 to 9,000 gold. Every fight that you've taken so far has ended up with you dead. Why are you fighting yet again? I can understand sending one person. You know what? Sacrifice the jungle for an attempt at a Baron steal. I can get that. I can respect that. But sacrifice your entire team for a Baron steal against a team that is just this far ahead? You're just making some poor choices at this point.
Yeah, and actually it was really close too. Like they almost did steal away the Baron, but like you mentioned, even if it just wasn't worth, because even if you stole it, you still would have been wiped most likely. Again, we see some poor positioning choices. They need to play as 5 in a front-to-back playstyle. Right, you need to have your Ornn being the CC lockdown. You need to have your Thresh helping the Ornn, or there shouldn't be anyone on your Kaisa. You should have Veigar playing around the Baby Rage Cage. The Rek'Sai, admittedly, doesn't fit too on the composition, but he's there. He's doing stuff. He's jumping on people.
Can knock up somebody with Umburo.
Yeah, he can get the knock up. Get the Yasuo coming in like this. He's helping. He's there. He definitely doesn't have 7 deaths.
He exists. She exists.
He exists.
Excuse me.
She exists. Enough flame. I'll leave the flame aside for now on that one. I do have to give props to boosting for Nidskin. Has played really, really well this game, putting tons of pressure down. Every time Mike Oxbaum would look for play bot or anything, he would be punished for it. I don't even think he got 2. I don't think he's gotten. I think he's only gotten his first red buff, and that's it. Oh man, good night.
Good night. Goodbye to Justify. Caught out. There's that Sejuani ultimate. Again, the timing and positioning is beautiful. SPK have themselves the Aatrox. Flippers to the top side. It's a 4v4 fight. Is the Orin going to be the target? Korean Flamer using the golden stopwatch daylight for the moment. Mike Cox finds himself the Sivir. Gets the shutdown, but will still be dropping, throwing out that ultimate. See what he can do on the backside before he goes down. Aatrox now joining the fight. The Orin going to be the target. He will fall. Yar going to be getting the slay kill on the Orin. And now Lord Reeves, the next target, throws out that ultimate just to snipe away the Galio before dying. Get a couple more kills on your KDA stats as the Nexus turret number 1 is going to collapse and fall. Nexus turret number 2, SPK Embers with 35 to 40 seconds on most of the members of Why Are You Running. That should be the game for SPK Embers as they start their track and make it back to round number 3, looking for first place the second week in a row.
Yeah, really, really well played by SPK. There are tons of props about Sarazel and boosting for Nidskin. Playing super, super well this game. Definitely being the MVPs of their team. Playing out of their mind. Sarazel being this monstrous damage source for them. I actually want to check out the damage charts here real quick.
Let's do that. Let's check out these stats and see how the damage was looking. Oh, Sivir beat him out just by a touch.
Actually, I think Veigar even beat him up. But like that's what I was saying, Veigar was like this online damage source that needed to play around him more. The one time they played to their composition, they got 2 picks. But that was the only time that whole game they played around it.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to see more of that from them. Hopefully next week, if they come back, I want to see them hopefully fix up some of those issues. Play around their win conditions a little bit more, play around their composition a little bit more.
But I gotta say, Why Are You Running? We haven't seen you in a very long time. Reformed after the original look of Dumbledore's army, and you still look pretty good, making it to round number 2 and having a overall decent fight up against the favored team. Keep in mind, SPK Embers was the favored team coming into this match. So we're gonna take a very quick break and be right back. But it is moving on to round number 3, where we're gonna have the SPK Embers once again showing up in the final slot, and they're going to be taking on, is it going to be Sway GG or CBK? We're actually not there yet. That game has not been completed just yet. So we're going to take a quick break, find out who that winner is, and we'll see you back for round 3 and the finals. If I can sneak in to watch the CBK versus Sway GG, I'll bring it up on the stream. We'll see if we can manage something like that. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that browser.
Oh, getting a little bit of that dash in here. I like it.